In this ArcMap demonstration, we're going to show how to create line features using the editing tool. So here I have an ortho photograph which depicts a trail that comes up through here from a gravel pit to the south there and comes to a dock here at the end of the lake. I'm going to turn off the point layer right now so I can see the photo underneath. And we're going to create a arc or set of arcs to represent that trail in the junk layer here. So I'm going to right mouse click the junk layer and choose edit features and start editing. It gives me some warnings. I'm just going to choose to continue. Now there's a junk layer here. I need the template so I can see the construction tools down here. So I'll click on that junk template and I now have my tools here. The one you're going to likely use here is line. There's also a freehand. Freehand, I'll show you, it is kind of difficult in that you basically click on the start of the line you want to create and then just move the mouse and draw just like you were using a pencil. Now, because it's creating points as you go along here, you have to be fairly smooth. Right, then to end you can either double click or right mouse click and whoops. Okay, we'll just double click. Alright, the line is now there. It's highlighted because I just created it. Now, like I said, that tools, you gotta have a pretty steady hand to use. So I'm gonna just hit undo here and get rid of that. I'm also going to come here and widen out the line symbol for my junk trail. And now I'm going to go and use the line tools to do it. Before I do that, I'm going to open the attribute table for that. Alright, we're going to just have it floating here. I'll just minimize it a bit. So I have editing on, so now there's one feature, which is the feature I'm just about to create. I guess I need to move my photo over a bit. And now I will begin drawing that line. So I'm going to click on my start here, and then everywhere I want to add a vertex, which is a kind of like an anchor point to that line, I will left mouse click on my mouse and I just draw these vertices all the way along here as I draw my line. Now this toolbar here kind of just moves along with me. There's some other tools you could use, but right now we're just drawing straight segments, so I'm not going to bother with any of the other tools there. And if I say made a mistake, I could just do undo here and I'll undo the last one. If I hit undo, it'll keep stepping back in time. We'll go in here to the end of the dock and I can again double click, or I can right mouse click after I finish my last point there and choose to finish sketch. And now it's done. Now I have a record here, and now there's another blank line which is waiting for me to draw another line in this data layer. I'll just draw one quickly here just so we have two. I'll double click to end it. Now we have two. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add some fields to this, and in order to add fields I come in here choose add field, but it's grayed out right now, and that's because editing's on. So first I have to add a field. I turn editing off, so I'm going to choose stop editing, and then it asks me if I want to save my edits. I'll say yes, and now I can go in here and add a field. Now I'm going to add one called comment, and it's going to be a text field, and I'm going to make it, I don't know, 35 characters wide, or letters, and hit OK. And that field's now added to my table. I'm going to add one other field, and I'm going to call it length. And right now, integer, the precision here indicates how many numerals I will allow, or how many numerals I would allow in my number, whether it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever you want. All right. So, but I don't want an integer. I actually want a decimal point. So I'm going to choose double. And so precision here is still number of numbers or spaces in the number. It also includes the decimal point. So I want one decimal point. So I'm going to put in here 10. And I want one decimal place. So for scale, I put 1. And I'll click OK. And then that field's been added. So now I'm going to go back and turn editing on. And it was junk that I was editing. I could have just right mouse clicked on the layer again to start editing, but I get my warnings. So now what I want to do is I want to come here and populate these fields. Under comment, and if I want to know what trail it is I'm dealing with, I get selected here by clicking on this little box here to the left of the record. And so now I can see which one it is I'm talking about. So I'm going to call that, I'm just going to type in here dock. It's the trail to the dock. Well, actually it's the south dock of Trapping Lake, so I'll put south dock. And length, I'm going to calculate. Now, because I have one record here selected, it will do the calculations for just the one. I'm going to, well, maybe before I do that, I'll come in here and choose to name the other arc, which I'm going to call garbage, just because it doesn't really represent anything. I just drew it so that we'd have another arc in our layer. And now I'm gonna clear the selections here, so none of them selected. And now I'm going to calculate the length. If I had one selected, it would just do the calculation for the selected record. So I'm going to go to calculate geometry, and I want length. Oops. And it's going to use, I can't choose my units, but we'll just go with what's going to appear, and we'll click OK. Now it says it's 983.1. I know my map is set up in meters, so that should be meters. If I want to check that, I could just take my measure tool here and measure out the length of that trail roughly by clicking along it with my mouse. And now I can read that. In my measurement up here, it says, I'll put my mouse back here, it says that it's 956 meters, and in here I have a length of 983. So obviously the units are meters. If I wanted that in kilometers, I could just right mouse click on this, go field calculator, and the length I'm going to say is equal to length. I'll double click on that, and I'll put in a dividing sign, and I'm going to say type in 1,000 because there's 1,000 meters in a kilometer, and click OK. And if this does it right, my length will be 0.9 here and 0.5 for the other one. I'll click OK. And it calculates the records. Oh, you see the calculation done. Now, I said 0.9, but it was actually above 0.9, so I rounded it to 1. And that's basically how you create and edit line features. One other thing I guess I should mention, I could have added the fields in the table here before I started drawing my arcs on there, and then as I went along I could have been populating the comment field and even done the length calculations as I went along.